Hey YouTube, I just wanted to make a quick video on my Pelican and the modifications I've done to it. This one is a 2003 model. It is not pre-wired for electricity. We'll get started with the simple. Put my pull rings up here on the outside. There were screws right there originally. I went ahead and drilled through and put these in place. That way, if you want to use a regular trolling motor, it's still an option. I did the same thing in the back so that I would be able to use an outboard motor and it not get in the way. Like I say, they're pretty stout, works pretty good. Another thing that I did was I used a different seat bracket. I put a regular bass boat seat bracket in place of the little black one that used to be here. That way it accommodates standard boat seat mounts with the little pedestal type, and that'll raise you up a couple of inches. That seems to work pretty well. Also, the bad part about that is you got this little piece sticking down, and sometimes that kind of gets in the way, but you know, no big deal. My little outboard is an 88 Johnson 2.5, and it runs an external tank. This is a 3-gallon tank, and man, you leave with a full tank, you don't have to worry about gas all day long. It does great. It only runs about 5 miles an hour though. My little light bracket right here, it works pretty well. It's a little bit flimsy, but it's attached down here and it goes all the way across. So down here it's really stable, but like I say, up here it kind of bends a little bit. That actually started off as a piece of metal like this, but I did some cutting and some bending and was able to get it put in place. And like I say, it does pretty good. The next thing I did was my little trolling motor deck. Now my trolling motor deck is 3 feet long, which is very important, and I'll explain why in a minute, by 28 inches wide. Now 28 inches fits from right here, from this groove right here across to this groove over here, and that fits pretty well. It's pretty tight. It doesn't shift around much at all. Another thing is this little plate down here in the bottom right there. It's just like this one, and it fits down into the groove of the floor. I don't know if y'all can see that because of the light, but it fits down in the groove of the floor right there, and it keeps it from being able to slide back and forth. That's very important. Now again, I said 3 foot. I tried a 2-foot deck, and it really did. It worked pretty well until you hit something, and you know, if you hit something hard enough, it just looked like you was about to lose your trolling motor and your battery and everything. So I went with 3 foot, and if you hit something pretty hard on it, it still kind of shifts around a little bit, but you're not worried about losing nothing. Now it's not attached to the boat. Gravity holds it in place. You know, the weight of the battery, the weight of the trolling motor, you know, it's pretty heavy. It does fine. One thing you need to know, if you're ever pulling it down the street, make sure that you have the battery in place, because without that battery holding it in place, you could probably lose it. I've never tried to pull it without the battery in it, so I've never, you know, I pulled this thing doing 85 miles an hour down the interstate, and it stays in place just fine. What else is there? Oh, if you decide to make a deck like this, and this is pretty important too, make sure that you leave enough clearance for your trolling motor to spin freely. So if it accidentally gets turned on, you know, it spins freely and doesn't hit the deck and burn itself up. That's no good. The trailer is a Harbor Freight trailer. I guess you can tell it's been around for a while. It's seen its better days. And if you decide to go with the Harbor Freight trailer, something about that you need to know is it has 25 millimeter wheel bearings, which are kind of hard to find. AutoZone does not carry 25 millimeter wheel bearings. You can find them on Google, on eBay, I mean, or maybe Amazon. I found them on eBay a few times, but like I say, your local parts store isn't going to carry them. And as long as you keep them greased really well, grease them every year, it won't ever be an issue. But if you ever get to where you have to replace them, yeah, they're not the easiest things to come across. Another thing, this little template right here fits really well down in this groove. It also fits when you make this deck right here. You're also going to need this template to come across the front right there. It fits really well in that groove. And if you ever decide to do something with the back, it also fits really well back there. But like I say, this little template right here is key. Once you have one of these right here cut out, that right there, that'll help you a lot. And again, I realize I said this before, that right there locks it down in the floor right there, so it can't slide back and forth. That's really important. You're gonna need to do that, because again, without that right there holding it in place, this deck will slide pretty easily. Well, that's my video, man. Hope you enjoyed it. Y'all have a good day.